Hi there, Generosers! Welcome back to the YouTube. In today's video, we're going to be ranking every country in the world in terms of which would be the best to be born in. We're going to start with the worst and finish with the best. We're talking about 193 different countries here, so it's going to be a good one. I'm interested to see where the UK fits on this list. Now, all of these countries we're going to be ranking are based on their Human Development Indexes, which basically takes into account money, life expectancy, and education. So it's a good broad way of looking at a country. So the Human Development Index is ranked on a scale from 0 to 1. So the closer a country is to 1, the better it is. And the closer it is to 0, the worse it is. While we're ranking these countries, we're also going to be looking at one fact about each country. I've actually learned so much filming this video, it's insane. Okay, before we start, guys, as always, I just want to point this out. Of all of you brilliant people who watch my videos, there's still a massive 74.7% of you not subscribed. Well, I would like to get that down to 0, all right? I want everyone who's watching this video to subscribe right now. That's not even a 0, that's a backwards C. Oh, it's a C. It is a C. So if you watch my videos and you enjoy them, then please do subscribe. It really helps me out and it means the world to me. Thank you so much. Okay, so the first country and the worst country is South Sudan. It has a Human Development Index of 0.388. That is very close to 0. This is the world's newest country, formed in 2011. Wow, I didn't know that. That is really young. That country is younger than me. Probably younger than a lot of you guys as well. That's insane. So basically it's the worst because I'm guessing it has terrible education, life expectancy, and money, like low income. Crazy. Okay, ranked 192 is Somalia. Half of women are forced to marry before they turn 18. Oh my god. I never understand countries that force people to marry. Like, why would it not just be up to them? They have a HDI of 0.404. Ranked 191st is Central African Republic. An HDI of 0.414. Only 14% have electricity, so hospitals shut down at night. God damn, that is scary. That really makes me feel lucky to actually live in the UK where we have the NHS. Like, we are so lucky. Only 14% of people have electricity. That's insane. Ranked 190th is Chad. Now, you have to excuse me if I pronounce some of these names wrong, because some of these countries I've never even heard of. 94% of 10-year-olds aren't taught to read. Chad has an HDI of 0.416. Now, remember, the higher the Human Development Index, the better the country is, on paper. Of course, it's also subjective to a point. Ranked 189th is Niger. The Nigersaurus, famous for its 500 tiny teeth, lived here. Well, surely that should make it first. Like, obviously. If it's home to a dinosaur, I want to live there. Has an HDI of 0.419. Also with an HDI of 0.419 is Mali, ranked 188th in the world. In October 2025, all schools were shut down because of attacks. That is insane. That is so scary. October 2025, that was like 3 months ago. Ranked 187th is Burundi. I think I'm pronouncing that right. I don't know. More than 51% of all kids lack food needed to grow properly. That is so sad. And then you've got some countries where like loads of people are obese and have too much food. US. Also, to be fair, the UK. Burundi has an HDI of 0.439. I'm interested to see the end of this video and see which ones are the best countries in the world to live in. I wonder where the UK is going to be. Ranked 186th is Burkina Faso. Have you ever heard of that country? I haven't. This has an HDI of 0.459. 1 in 4 schools are shut due to violence, so 1 million kids can't go. Oh my god. It's scary because when I was in school, all I would wish for is the school to be shut down. But I'd imagine those kids, all they want to do is actually go to school and actually learn. Ranked 185th is Sierra Leone. An HDI of 0.467. There's a 1 in 20 chance that women here die in childbirth. 1 in 20 chance. That's 5%. That's really scary. Ranked 184th is Yemen. Most countries cured cholera, but Yemen has 250,000 cases a year. Oh my god. So that's obviously why that's that low down. No, Madagascar, why is this so low down on the list? Ranked 183rd in the world. Over 90% of people live on $3.10 per day, which is $93 a month. Oh my god. I mean, yeah, that is low. It's not as bad as it sounds. Like, if you were on that in the UK, you obviously simply couldn't live. Our money goes a lot further in poorer countries, but it's still obviously low because obviously it wouldn't be this low down on the list. Ranked 182nd is Mozambique. A 2019 cyclone destroyed 90% of some of their major cities. Is that why it's so low down? Just because of a cyclone or a hurricane or whatever you call it? That's crazy. This has an HDI of 0.493, so it's getting closer to halfway. Ranked 181st is Afghanistan, an HDI of 0.496. It's the only country to ban teen girls from school. Oh my god. Why? Why would it ban teen girls? What are they meant to do? I had no idea. I had no idea Afghanistan did that. So what? So as soon as, if you're a girl in Afghanistan, you go to school up until you're 13 and then you're just not allowed to go anymore. Ranked 180th in the world is Ethiopia. Things like lights and fridges are a luxury for most people. Wow. HDI of 0.497. Yeah, it is crazy. Like, when you look at all these African countries, it really makes you feel, like, lucky and happy with what you have. Like, the fact that we have fridges and showers and lights and electricity, like, loads of people in Africa don't even have that. Ranked 179th on the list is Guinea. HDI of 0.5. 95% of girls have undergone infant mutilation here. What is infant mutilation? I need to look that up. Oh my god, it says here that infant mutilation is basically the removal of teeth. But it's not like you go to a dentist. It's like they'll get it. People will just take it out with a knife. Why? Why? Okay, well, I can understand why it's that low down on the list. That is crazy. Ranked 178th on the list is Eritrea. Eritrea? I think that's how you pronounce it. With an HDI of 0.503, when men turn 18, they're sent to the army indefinitely. Yeah, I don't think they're the only country to do that. There's quite a few countries that do that. Well, we'll probably find out in this video. Ranked 177th on the list is Liberia, HDI of 0.51. When Ebola hit, they only had 50 doctors for all 4.3 million people. Oh my god, so that is why their human development index is so low. That is insane. Ranked 176th on the list is Sudan. HDI of 0.511. Since 2023, war has driven over 14 million people from their homes. It's just so sad, isn't it? Like, I don't understand why in this day and age, when it just feels like we're so advanced. Or maybe not in some countries. Why do we need to fight? Surely we're beyond that. We've had 2 world wars and countless other wars. Why do we need to fight? Don't forget, guys, as this video goes on, the countries get better and better, according to the HDI. The ones at the end might actually surprise you. Ranked 175th in the world is Djibouti. Djibouti? I have no idea. I've just not pronounced that right. But anyway, with an HDI of 0.513, the country needs to import 90% of its food. Oh, wow. So it can't really grow any food for some reason. It imports it all from other countries. That's crazy. Ranked 174th is Guinea-Bissau. Since 1974, there have been 4 coups and 17 attempts. Oh my god, I'm actually learning so much. So a coup, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, is basically when the civilians, the people, overthrow the government, like, with force. That's crazy. Imagine if that happened in the UK. Ranked 173rd is Benin. In rural areas, 65% are forced to defecate outdoors, so you have to poo outside. Yeah, I mean, that's obviously not great. Yeah, it's not great, is it? Ranked 172nd is Malawi. With an HDI of 0.517, only 23% of people have electricity. Okay, well, it's more than the other country. And only 6% of rural people. Oh my god. So if you basically live, if you live in the sticks, there's a 6% chance you have electricity. I mean, 200 years ago, or 300 years ago, nobody had electricity. So I guess it's not that bad. But also, in today's age, you would think the whole world should have electricity. Don't forget, guys, as this video goes on, the countries get better and better. I want to see where the UK is. Ranked 171st on this list is the Democratic Republic of the Congo. I love that name for a country because it's just so unnecessarily long. Over 23 million people are at risk of starvation. That is insane. With an HDI of 0.522. Ranked 170th on the list is the Gambia. More than 50% of all people live in poverty. Why is it called the Gambia and not just Gambia? I don't know. Ranked 169th on the list is Senegal. Over 100,000 young boys are forced to beg every day. That is so sad. Why specifically young boys? No young girls? No adults? Probably are as well. Ranked 168th on the list is Pakistan. With an HDI of 0.544. At least it's going up. It is going up. Blackouts make the intense summer heat even worse. What do you mean blackouts? What, like blackouts of electricity? Ranked 167th on the list is Lesotho. I've never heard of that before in my life. HDI of 0.55. Almost a quarter of all adults live with HIV. Oh my god. Ranked 166th on the list is Haiti. With an HDI of 0.554. 1 in 8 Haitians are displaced because of gang violence. I'm butchering these pronunciations, guys, but I've not heard of a lot of these countries, all right? I'm sorry. Okay, so there's basically a lot of gang violence apparently in Haiti. Is that because they Haiti everyone? Sorry. Ranked 165th on the list is Tanzania. A third of kids under 5 are too short due to the lack of food. Oh my god, HDI of 0.555. Ranked 164th on the list is Nigeria with an HDI of 0.56. 133 million people lack basics like sanitization and schooling. There's actually a lot of people that live in Africa, aren't there? I'm beginning to realize that. Well, I suppose it's not a country, it's a continent, so it makes sense. Ranked 163rd on the list is Mauritania. 3.2% of people here live as slaves, nearly the highest global rate. That is so scary that there's still slavery going on in the world. What on earth? Ranked 162nd on the list is Syria, with an HDI of 0.564. Since 2010, the economy has shrunk by almost 90%. Ranked 161st on the list is Togo, with an HDI of 0.571. 84% of households can't afford to connect to the grid. That's why a lot of these countries are so low down. It's not just the healthcare and the education. They simply can't afford to do these things. Or it's just not available to them. Ranked 160th on the list is Papua New Guinea, with an HDI of 0.576. 1 in 3 women have been assaulted by their husbands. Oh my god, 1 in 3. That is so scary. Ranked 159th on the list is Rwanda. Just 38% have internet, so many opportunities are limited. Yeah, they're not accessing TikTok or YouTube. They're not making videos. Ranked 158th on the list is Ivory Coast. With an HDI of 0.582, cocoa price swings leave small farmers earning little. Yeah, I've heard actually that is one of the main ways they make money in Africa, and some countries in Africa, is through farming cocoa or coffee beans. Ranked 157th on the list is Uganda. They host over 1.7 million refugees, the highest in Africa. They have an HDI of 0.582. I'm looking forward to seeing some of the nicer countries. Ranked 156th on the list is the Solomon Islands, with an HDI of 0.584. 8 in 10 people live on hard-to-reach islands, so healthcare is hard. Yeah, that's true, actually. I suppose there's so many countries out there which are just little, tiny little islands. Ranked 155th on the list is Cameroon. 3.3 million people need humanitarian aid just to live. They have an HDI of 0.588. Well, it is going up, slowly but surely. Ranked 154th is Zambia. HDI of 0.595. 91% of people still cook with charcoal, a big and expensive health risk. Is it a health risk? Why is it a health risk? Is it because of like the fumes you breathe in? I don't even know. Ranked 153rd on the list is Zimbabwe. Prices are rising by about 86% every year. Oh my god, that's crazy. 86% every year. It's basically doubling every year. Ranked 152nd on the list is Comoros. Nearly half of all people live off of only $3.65 per day. I mean, what's that, like £3, just like probably £2.50 a day. That is ridiculous. Ranked 151st on the list is Cambodia with an HDI of 0.606. Diets depend on fish, but there's 88% fewer since 2000. What, 88% fewer fish? Is that what in the whole sea or just in Cambodia? I don't know. Ranked 150th in the world is Myanmar. All men and women must serve up to 2 years in the military. That is ridiculous. Ranked 149th on the list is Micronesia. Medical care often needs an expensive flight off island. What? So if you've got something wrong with you, you have to fly to a different country? That's crazy. Ranked 148th on the list is Angola. Luanda was once ranked the world's most expensive city. Wow. They have an HDI of 0.616. Ranked 147th on the list is Laos. Per person, this is the most heavily bombed country ever. Oh my god, that is a horrible statistic. Ranked 146th on the list is Vanuatu? Vanuatu. Oh my god, how are we going to carry all this stuff? Oh, just use a van or two. Sorry, these are terrible dad jokes. This is the nation most prone to natural disasters. Really? Wow. Again, this is why I feel lucky to live in the UK. I know the UK has a lot of shit chatted about it, but we don't have any natural disasters, right? We don't get tornadoes, we don't get earthquakes, we don't get tsunamis. We've got the NHS, right? Free healthcare. I feel lucky. I'm just putting it out there. Ranked 145th in the world is Nepal. A quarter of GDP is from migrants sending money back to Nepal. Wow. HDI of 0.622. Ranked 144th in the world is Ghana. Power was cut from the parliament for unpaid bills. Oh my god, they just cut their power because the government wasn't paying its bills. Ranked 143rd in the world is Kenya. 13 people a day die in car accidents in Kenya. Oh my god. A day. 13 people a day. That is so scary. Ranked 142nd on the list is Timor-Leste. I've never heard of that. Half of all under 5s do not get enough nutrition to grow. That is so sad. I promise, guys, this video will get more cheery as it goes on. Ranked 141st on the list is Sao Tome and Principe. Yep. The grid relies on imported fuel, so power is very costly. Right, so they don't generate their own power. That's where they're going wrong, isn't it? That's where they're going wrong. Joking. It's obviously very hard to do that. That's crazy. I don't know what they can do, though. I mean, obviously these countries are trying their best. I don't know. I don't really know enough about history. Like, why is the UK doing well and the US and all these big countries? Why are they doing so well and these guys aren't? Ranked 140th in the world is Kiribati. Farming is hard, so diets rely on unhealthy processed food. We actually do farming in this country, but we still eat loads of processed food. It's crazy. Ranked 139th in the world is Honduras. Homicide rates are among the highest in the world. That is very sad. Ranked 138th in the world is Congo. Only 10% of roads are paved, which makes journeys hard. Congo has an HDI of 0.649, which isn't great, but it's not the worst. Ranked 137th in the world is Guatemala. 47% of young children do not get enough food. What I'm learning from this video is there's a lot, and I mean a lot of kids that don't get enough food. Ranked 136th in the world is Namibia. 40% of urban residents live in informal shacks. What do you mean informal shacks? What does a formal shack look like? Ranked 135th in the world is Cabo Verde. They need to import 80% of their food to survive. That's a lot of food. Ranked 134th in the world is Equatorial Guinea. Despite massive oil wealth, 57% of people live in poverty. Yeah, it's probably because there's like a select few people that are really rich and the rest are just poor, which is just crazy. Ranked 133rd in the world is Palestine. The threat of bombings make life extremely difficult. Yeah, that is so sad. They have an HDI of 0.674. Ranked 132nd in the world is El Salvador. This guy looks really scary. He's staring at me with his tattoos. Almost 2% of all people here are in prison. Oh, right. Ranked 131st in the world is Bangladesh. 68 million people still drink poor quality water. That's the thing, it's not just the food, it's the water as well. I mean, some of these countries I'd love to visit. Obviously, I wouldn't want to live in them, but it would just be like, I feel like it'll be a really wholesome experience to visit some of these countries, as long as it's not dangerous. That would be scary. This one's actually quite surprising. Ranked 130th in the world is India. The air quality reduces life expectancy by 3.5 years. Really, the air quality? I didn't realize air quality was that important. I mean, obviously, I knew you don't want to breathe in bad things, but I wonder what's in the air in India. Ranked 129th in the world is Tuvalu. With an HDI of 0.689, families depend on rain tanks to get enough water. Again, we're so lucky to just have water coming out of our taps. These guys have to put buckets out to catch the rainwater so they can drink. It's just different, isn't it? It really is a different way of life. Ranked 128th in the world is Tajikistan. Yep, we'll go with that. Nearly half of the GDP is from migrants sending money back. Wow, so there's another country there. So nobody really earns money in the country. They go to other countries, earn the money there, and then send it back. Ranked 127th in the world is Eswatini. More than 1 in 2 young people cannot find a job. I mean, yeah, finding jobs is becoming increasingly difficult all over the world, I think. Ranked 126th in the world is Iraq. With an HDI of 0.695, summer heat often hits 50 degrees C while power grids fail. Sounds like they need solar power. I'd imagine they do. They probably do that. There's probably like the Iraqi president watching this video and going, you know what? That ginger YouTuber from the UK is onto something. Why have we never thought of this? Ranked 125th in the world is Bhutan. 5,000 people leave each month, leaving jobs unfilled. Interesting. Why are they leaving? I don't really know. I've never even heard of that country, so I don't know why they're leaving. But there's obviously jobs going in Bhutan if anyone wants them. Ranked 124th in the world is Nauru. With an HDI of 0.703, over 70% of adults here suffer from obesity. Interesting. Ranked 123rd in the world is Nicaragua. The national sport is baseball, not soccer, like most nearby. Hell yeah, I think soccer's overrated. Unpopular opinion. I'm not really a football fan. I watch the World Cup and the Euros, but I don't really play football. Ranked 122nd in the world is Samoa. They skipped a day in 2011 by changing time zones. They just skipped a whole day. Why did they do that? How weird. Ranked 121st on the list is Venezuela. They have the biggest oil reserves in the world. Why are they just holding on to so much oil? I suppose it's very valuable, so it makes sense. Ranked 120th is Morocco. They have an HDI of 0.71. Morocco was the first country to recognize the United States. To recognize them. What does that mean? I don't know, moving on. Ranked 119th in the world is Jamaica. Reggae has been classified as part of humanity's heritage. I'd really like to go to Jamaica. I think it would be cool. I think it would be a cool country to go to. Ranked 118th in the world is the Philippines with an HDI of 0.72. It's known as the texting capital of the world. Texting capital of the world. Because everyone's texting? I wonder why. Ranked 117th on this list is Kyrgyzstan. Yeah. Many people are still nomads, living in temporary huts. What is a nomad? Living in temporary huts, so they're just like constantly on the move. That's crazy. That's such a different way of life. If they came to the UK, they'd be like, what the f*** is this? Ranked 116th on the list is Belize. They've got the only flag that depicts human beings. That's a cool fact. Ranked 115th is Libya. Their gasoline is among the cheapest in the world. Wow, yeah, petrol and diesel in the UK has recently shot up in price, hasn't it? Wonder how much it is in Libya. Ranked 114th on the list is Suriname. Surname? 90% of the country is covered in forest. Whoa, that's cool. I want to go there. They're not even that low on this list either. That sounds like a cool place to go. Ranked 113th in the world is Indonesia with an HDI of 0.728. The country is home to over 155 million gamers. What? I didn't even know they had that big of a population, let alone that's just how many gamers they have. Ranked 112th in the world is Botswana. About 1 in 6 adults live here with HIV. Oh, good. Ranked 111th in the world is Fiji. Fiji is made up of 333 islands. 223 of them are uninhabited. Wow. Wonder why. Why are they uninhabited? By the looks of this image, they're uninhabited because they can't get there because of all the man-eating sharks. Ranked 110th in the world is Gabon. They have the world's only natural nuclear generator. What do you mean natural nuclear generator? That sounds awesome. I want one. Ranked 109th in the world is the Marshall Islands. About 98% of the Marshall Islands is ocean. That's pretty cool. They have an HDI of 0.733. So it's climbing. It's getting up. It's going up. Ranked 108th in the world is Bolivia. They have 2 capitals and La Paz is the highest globally. How do they have 2 capital cities? I didn't think that was allowed. Ranked 107th in the world is Uzbekistan. From here, you need to cross 2 countries to reach ocean. That's pretty cool. Ranked 106th in the world is South Africa. The country has 11 official languages. That's insane. Why does it need so many languages? I reckon they're not that different from each other. I might be completely wrong here, but my guess would be they're not actually that different from each other. And I don't know, like maybe they're just different accents of the same language. Maybe not. Maybe they're completely different. I don't know. Ranked 105th in the world is Tunisia with an HDI of 0.746. The Tatooine scenes in Star Wars were filmed here. Whoa, that's cool. Ranked 104th in the world is Mongolia. The country has more horses than people. Wow. They have an HDI of 0.747, and that's probably just that high just because of the horses. They just love horses. That country would be every horse girl's dream. Ranked 103rd in the world is St. Lucia. This is the only country named after a woman. Well, I didn't know that. Ranked 102nd in the world is Lebanon. The currency lost 98% of its value since 2019. What the hell happened to Lebanon? Ranked 101st is Jordan. You can float on the Dead Sea because it's so salty. I would love actually to do this. This would be so cool. It'd be so nice to just float on water and just... It'd be like 11 from Stranger Things. Okay, ranked 100th in the world, guys, is Egypt. The Great Pyramid is the only ancient 7 wonder left. Really? The only ancient 7 wonder left? I didn't know that. Egypt has an HDI of 0.754. I've actually been to Egypt 4 times, but the last time I went, I was about 10. I remember going in the pyramids. They're pretty cool. Ranked 99th in the world is Paraguay. Electricity is almost 100% from hydropower. That's pretty cool. So basically, the electricity comes from waterfalls. That's sick. Ranked 98th in the world is Dominica. Hurricane Maria caused damage worth 226% of GDP. That's insane. That's very expensive. That's an expensive fix. Ranked 97th in the world is Cuba. Famous dances like Rumba and the Cha-Cha-Cha started here. The Cha-Cha-Cha. Ranked 96th in the world is Algeria. By area, this is the largest country in Africa. Wow, they have an HDI of 0.763. I wonder why they're doing better than the other African countries. Ranked 95th in the world is Turkmenistan. It is one of the most censored countries. censored countries. What, like, they're just not allowed to do things or see things online? I wonder what it is. I wonder why. Ranked 94th in the world is North Korea. North Korea built the world's largest empty skyscraper. Empty skyscraper. Why would they build an empty skyscraper? So they just built a tower, basically. A sculpture. A giant sculpture. North Korea has an HDI of 0.766. Ranked 93rd in the world is the Maldives. The Maldives always sounds like a lovely place to go to. The country is barely 2 meters above sea level. Well, there you go. They say that the Maldives doesn't actually have long left before the sea levels rise and then it's gone. It's gone forever. Which I hope isn't true. I hope it stays. Ranked 92nd in the world is Vietnam. Vietnamese cuisine is thought to be the world's healthiest. That's cool. I kind of want to try it now. I don't think I've tried Vietnamese food. Ranked 91st in the world is Tonga. A 2022 eruption cut the country off from the internet. Oh my God. That is insane. Imagine if that happened in the UK. There was just an eruption, and all of a sudden, overnight, no one in the UK had access to internet. I'd be screwed. This is my job. Ranked 90th in the world is Dominican Republic. They produce the most MLB players after the USA. They have an HDI of 0.776. Also with an HDI of 0.776, ranked 89th in the world is Guyana. 3/4 of the nation is covered in rainforest. That is so cool. Ranked 88th in the world is Sri Lanka. Over 1 million people work in the tea making industry. It's so cool that tea employs so many people worldwide. Ranked 87th in the world is Ecuador. The equator runs through the country, hence the name. So Ecuador. There you go. Ranked 86th in the world is Ukraine. Ukraine is the largest country that's entirely in Europe. Oh, wow. Didn't know that. I didn't know a lot of these things. Maybe because I'm a bit of an idiot. No, I don't know. I'm not an idiot. I just don't really know a lot about geography. Because I'm an idiot. Ranked 85th in the world is Moldova. There are huge wine cellars with underground roads. Whoa. That's cool. Makes me want to go and explore them. Ranked 84th in the world is Palau. They have no military. Their defense is handled by the US. Interesting. What does the US get in return? There must be some sort of deal going on there. Ranked 83rd in the world is Brazil. They've won the World Cup 5 times, the most in the world. You know what? Well played, Brazil. I wonder what they're doing that other countries aren't. Interesting. Ranked 82nd in the world is Colombia. It's the only country named after Christopher Columbus. They have an HDI of 0.788. Ranked 81st in the world is Azerbaijan. 9 of the 11 climate zones all exist in this country. Climate zones? What is a climate zone? I've never even heard of a climate zone, but it basically just means there's loads and loads of different climates and temperatures going on in the same country. That's pretty cool. Ranked 80th in the world is Mexico. The first chocolate drink was made here millennia ago. Whoa. You wouldn't have guessed that, would you? You wouldn't have thought the world's first chocolate drink came from Mexico. You'd imagine it would be like spicy or something. Ranked 79th in the world is Grenada. With an HDI of 0.791, Hurricane Ivan wrecked about 90% of homes in 2004. It's so sad when natural disasters like that happen. Imagine your home just being taken by wind. This is crazy. Ranked 78th in the world is Peru. Peru is where potatoes come from. There's 4,000 varieties. Well, it's not the only place potatoes come from, though, is it? Surely you can grow potatoes all over the world. Well, I'm not going to lie. I thought this would be a lot later on this list, but China, 77th in the world. HDI of 0.797. About 1 in 6 humans alive today live in China. That's crazy. There's so many people in China. Ranked 76th in the world is St. Vincent and the Grenadines. That sounds like a band. Many scenes from the Pirates of the Caribbean films were filmed here. They have an HDI of 0.798. Ranked 75th in the world is Thailand. I've been to Thailand. It's illegal to step on money as it shows the king's face. I didn't know you couldn't step on the money, but they are so, protective over their king. I went there with some friends and we asked about the king. You basically just shouldn't do that. You just don't ask about the king because I think they've recently got a new king and people didn't like them, but they're not allowed to speak badly about the king. It was really interesting, but you've got to be careful. Ranked 74th in the world is Iran. The sport of polo started in ancient Persia, now Iran. Ranked 73rd in the world. Why is this guy fat? This is a fat f***. Bosnia and Herzegovina. A shooting here triggered World War I. That's a big claim, isn't it? Where have they got that information from? They have an HDI of 0.804. That's pretty high. That's pretty high, but they're only going to get higher. We're getting to the good countries now, guys. Ranked 72nd in the world is Mauritius. This was the home of the dodo before it went extinct. Whoa, I didn't know that. Ranked 71st in the world is Trinidad and Tobago. The limbo dance began in Trinidad and Tobago. Whoa, that's cool. I'm terrible at that. I don't know if it's because I'm tall or just not flexible enough, or both. Ranked 70th in the world is Albania. Some 170,000 Cold War bunkers still dot to the landscape. Interesting. I wonder, have they kept the bunkers there for history? Have they just left them there just hoping someone else would deal with it? Ranked 69th in the world is Armenia. It's the first country to make Christianity the state religion. Ranked 68th in the world is Barbados. I've been to Barbados when I was a baby. They replaced the British monarch in 2021. Ranked 67th in the world is North Macedonia. They only changed their name to this in 2019. From what? From what? What did it change from? Ranked 66th in the world is Malaysia. Malaysia is ruled by a king who was elected by a vote. Interesting. So it's not like a monarchy. It's like it's voted. So basically like the government, like the prime minister or the president. Ranked 65th in the world is the Bahamas. They have an HDI of 0.82. You can swim with pigs in the Bahamas. Pig Beach. I thought that was in Thailand you could do that. I want to swim with pigs. I didn't even know pigs could swim. Ranked 64th in the world is Belarus. Belarus is nicknamed the last dictatorship in Europe. Ooh, interesting. Russia, ranked 63rd in the world. They have an HDI of 0.832. Russia stretches across 11 time zones. 11 time zones? That's crazy. Why don't... Yeah. You know what? Fair enough. Ranked 62nd in the world is Costa Rica. They scrapped its army in 1948 and still has none today. See, why can't the whole world just follow in Costa Rica's footsteps? If the whole world just had no army, the world would be a much better place with no fighting. All right, no fighting. You hear me, world? The English word from vampire is from Serbian. They have an HDI of 0.833. Ranked 60th on the list is Brunei. Citizens pay no income tax and get free healthcare. That's crazy. They pay how does the government get money then? They must pay some sort of other tax. That's crazy. I've never heard of that before. Ranked 59th in the world is Kazakhstan. The first human in space, Yuri Gagarin, launched from here. Wow, that's really cool. Ranked 58th in the world is Panama. About 5% of all global trade goes through the canal. Ranked 57th in the world is St. Kitts and Nevis. Some really weird named countries out there, aren't there? Alexander Hamilton was born on a tiny island here. Alexander Hamilton. Ranked 56th in the world is Georgia. People in Georgia have been making wine for 8,000 years. Isn't it crazy that wine is that old? Like, that's how long we've been doing it for. They have an HDI of 0.844. Ranked 55th in the world is Bulgaria. Nodding your head means no, and shaking it means yes. What? So if you did this means no, and that means yes. Why? They're just trying to be edgy, aren't they? Just trying to be a bit different to all the other countries. Well, I'm not buying it, Bulgaria. Ranked 54th in the world is Romania. They have an HDI of 0.845. 96% of people own their homes. You know what? Good for them. Well done, Romania. That's great. You love to hear it. Ranked 53rd in the world is Seychelles. Seychelles? Sure. Seychelles is Africa's smallest country with only 100,000 people. Wow. No wonder I've never heard of it. Ranked 52nd in the world is Antigua and Barbuda. They've got 365 beaches, one for each day of the year. I don't think that's why they've got 365 beaches, unless they're man-made beaches. Ranked 51st in the world is Kuwait. Summer heat often tops over 50 degrees C. That is too hot. That is simply too hot. Ranked 50th in the world is Turkey. I've been to Turkey once before. Istanbul is split across 2 continents, Europe and Asia. I didn't know that. Wow. Ranked 49th in the world is Oman. They've been ruled by the same family for centuries. They've been ruled by a family. The whole country has been ruled by a family. I suppose it's like king or queen, isn't it? That's kind of cool, but also I don't know whether that's a good thing or not. I mean, they're quite high up on the list. They must be doing something right. They have an HDI of 0.858. Ranked 48th in the world is Montenegro. People use the euro despite not being in the EU. They have an HDI of 0.862. I mean, we use the pound and we used to be in the EU. Ranked 47th in the world is Uruguay. They have an HDI of 0.862. Uruguay hosted the first World Cup in 1930 and won. So they hosted it and won it. Rigged. It's rigged. Ranked 46th in the world is Argentina. Its name means the land of silver. Why silver? There must be a lot of silver there to be found. Ranked 45th in the world is Hungary. The Rubik's Cube was invented here by Erno Rubik. Ranked 44th in the world is Chile. Chile is very long, stretching 4,300 kilometers from top to bottom. Wow, that is very long. Ranked 43rd in the world is Slovakia. The country has the most castles per people worldwide. Whoa, why have they got so many castles? That's awesome. They have an HDI of 0.88. That is very high, but it's not as high as Qatar. They are ranked 42nd on the list. Qatar is considered to be the safest country in the world. Wow. I wonder why. I wonder why it's considered to be the safest. Ranked 41st on the list is Croatia. They have an HDI of 0.889. Tourism is a lifeline, making up to about a fifth of the economy. Wow, so a fifth of all the money, 20% of all the money Croatia makes is from tourism. Ranked 40th in the world is Latvia. You can get free Wi-Fi almost anywhere in their capital city. Can you say the same about London? I don't really know. Ranked 39th in the world is Portugal. They have the oldest running bookstore, founded in 1732. Whoa. Imagine going to a 1732 library. That would be sick. Ranked 38th in the world is Lithuania. Vilnius gets barely 7.5 hours of daylight in December. Is that a city? I think so. I've never heard of it. A city that gets no sunlight, basically. Ranked 37th in the world is Bahrain. An island, but linked to Saudi Arabia by 25 kilometers long bridges. Oh my god. I didn't even know you could make bridges that long. They have an HDI of 0.9. Wow, that is very high. Ranked 36th in the world is Saudi Arabia. This is the largest country without any rivers at all. Really, they've got no rivers. Why? Ranked 35th in the world is Estonia. You can vote in elections over the internet. Oh, that would be so good. Because I'm pretty sure in the UK, don't you have to go in? If you can vote over the internet, I didn't know about it. Ranked 34th in the world is Poland. Unemployment is among the lowest in the EU, about 2%. So about 2% of people in Poland are unemployed, basically. That is very good. Ranked 33rd in the world is Greece. Athens has about 2,770 sunshine hours a year. I mean, that sounds like a lot, but I have no idea how that compares to other countries. Ranked 32nd in the world is Andorra. They have an HDI of 0.913. Only 80,000 people live here, but they get 10 million yearly tourists. What? That's crazy. They must get so sick of the tourists. Or maybe they like them. I don't know. Ranked 31st in the world is Cyprus. There is a unpatrolled buffer zone across the island. Yes, I know this because I've been to Cyprus, and yeah, there was. My hotel that I was staying in was literally right next to this buffer zone because there's like two countries. I don't know if they're fighting or they don't like each other, something like that. And yeah, basically right outside my hotel was a massive wall with security, like security guys walking across it. And apparently if you try to climb over the wall, you'd just be shot. That was a nice cheery visit to Cyprus. Ranked 30th on the list is Czech Republic. Prague has a 600-year-old clock which still works today. That is so cool. I love old things that still work. It's just sick. Ranked 29th on the list is Italy. I've been to Italy. They have an HDI of 0.915. The country has more World Heritage sites than any other. They got a lot of history. They go way back. Ranked 28th in the world is San Marino, the world's oldest republic, formed way back in 301. The year 301. That is crazy. Ranked 27th in the world is Spain. A town has a 1-hour yearly food fight in the streets. Yeah, I've heard about that, and they literally just throw tomatoes, like in that picture. They just lob tomatoes at each other. And they're just like the unusable tomatoes as well, like the rotten ones or the ones that aren't so good. So it's not even like they're wasting food. Maybe they are a little bit, but not as, they're not using the best tomatoes. I'd love to be in that tomato fight. I just think it would be so fun. Ranked 26th in the world is Israel. Hebrew was a dead language before being revived. I didn't know that. Ranked 25th in the world is France. Yes, we've beaten France. If you notice, guys, we still haven't got to the UK yet. What place do you think we're going to be? France is the most visited country in the world. Is it? I didn't know that. That is like a pub quiz question, isn't it? What is the most visited country in the world? Now you know the answer, guys. France. Ranked 24th in the world is Luxembourg. Over half of residents were born in a different country. That's such a weird fact. Why? Why would they not be born in Luxembourg? Ranked 23rd in the world is Malta. With no permanent rivers, they filter seawater to drink. In that picture, why is there a random guy with a mask on and glasses? What's going on there? Ranked 22nd in the world is Japan. I really want to go to Japan. There's one vending machine for every 25 people in Japan. That is so cool. Although I have heard that they have like a vending machine for knickers. Like there's literally just like used knickers in a vending machine. I don't know how true that is. which just is so weird. Ranked 21st in the world is Austria. Mozart's birthplace is one of the most visited museums. Ranked 20th in the world is Slovenia. Around 11,000 people keep bees, more than anywhere else. Whoa, I wonder why they keep so many bees. They just bloody love their bees. Ranked 19th in the world is South Korea. The band BTS brings in billions to the economy. Whoa, billions. Ranked 18th in the world is Liechtenstein. With one of the lowest crime rates, it's the safest in Europe. I've never been there before. Sounds pretty cool though. Ranked 17th in the world is the United States. I would really like to go to the United States. Of all of my audience, guys, so most of you guys are from the UK. The second highest is from the United States. So I think it would be really cool to go to the US one day. Only the US has landed humans on the moon. I suppose, yeah, that's true. And we haven't really had a need or requirement to go back, have we? Ranked 16th in the world is New Zealand. They were the first to give women voting rights in 1893. Wow. That's a long time ago as well. That's fair enough. Fair play to them. Ranked 15th in the world is Canada. They have more lakes than everywhere else combined. Literally everywhere else in the world, they've got more lakes than. Why have they got so many lakes? Ranked 14th in the world is the United Arab Emirates. Their Burj Khalifa is the tallest building in the world. I would really like to go. I'm actually scared of heights, but part of me would really like to see that. Ranked 13th in the world is Singapore. Their airport is regularly ranked the best in the world. I've been to Singapore airport, and it was very cool. I went over... Oh, no, I haven't. That's a lie. I've been to Beijing airport. I've not been to Singapore airport. I've been to Beijing airport. Oh, here we go. This is us. Here we are, ranked 12th. You know what? That's pretty good, isn't it? There's a lot of countries in the world, and for us to come 12th on this list, we have an HDI of 0.946. It's linked to France by the longest undersea tunnel. Hell yeah, it is. The Eurostar. Ranked 11th in the world is Finland, ranked the happiest country for 8 years in a row. I have heard that. It does make me want to go to Finland just because of that. Just because of that awesome statistic. They have an HDI of 0.948. So they're only slightly above the UK. Ranked 10th in the world is Ireland. Halloween began in ancient Ireland as the Celtic festival. Really? I thought Halloween came from America. I thought it was an American thing. Ireland. Ranked 9th in the world is Belgium. I've been to Belgium. They're the home of French fries, central to their cuisine. I didn't know that. I did not know that. Ranked 8th in the world is the Netherlands. About a quarter of the country is below sea level. Is it? What the hell? If a quarter of the country is below sea level, what about the Maldives? How much of that is below sea level? Look at this. Just an Aussie man fighting a kangaroo. Ranked 7th in the world is Australia. They have an HDI of 0.958. That is very high. Australia has more kangaroos than people. They also have a smaller population than the UK, which is crazy, despite them being massive. I went to Germany last month. They have an HDI of 0.959. Some roads, the Autobahn, have no speed limit at all. Yeah, it's true. You can literally just, on some of the roads, you can just go as fast as you want, which is kind of scary, but really cool at the same time. Ranked 5th in the world is Sweden. They also have an HDI of 0.959. Minecraft and Spotify were both created in Sweden. Wow, I didn't know that. I keep saying, wow, I didn't know that, but I didn't know that. So many of these things I didn't know. Ranked 4th in the world is Legoland. Ranked 4th in the world is Denmark. Lego comes from here. The word means play well. Okay, Lego means play well. I didn't know that. Okay, guys, we have made it to the last 3. Are you ready? Well, you probably could have guessed it because it's the last 3 we haven't spoken about yet. Ranked 3rd in the world is Switzerland. They've stayed neutral for 200 years, staying out of wars. They have an HDI of 0.97. Also with an HDI of 0.97 and ranked 2nd in the world is Norway. In the summer, some parts get sunlight non-stop for weeks. Non-stop? What, literally 24/7? That's so cool. Okay, and ranked number 1 in the world, guys. We've finally made it to the last one. The best in the world is Iceland. They have an HDI of 0.972. That is so close to 1. That is so close to being perfect. Almost all electricity comes from renewable sources. I want to go to Iceland. Guys, I'm going to Iceland. That's going to be it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed watching. That was very interesting. I don't know how long this video is going to be, but it's definitely going to be longer than my other ones. Well, that is every country ranked based on its Human Development Index. So there you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed watching. Before you go, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Smash that subscribe button. Do it now. Do it now. If you made it this far, you are a legend. I love you. Also, if you made it this far, put something in the comments to let me know, and I'll give you a little heart. I will like it. I will heart that comment. I will heart the shit out of that comment. Take it easy, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!